So we are here to have more of a casual conversation about how our journal article, The Fundamental Uncertainties of Mothering, Finding Ways to Honor Endurance, Struggle, and Contradiction, came to be. And to give you a little bit of a flyover about what we find interesting with it, and also maybe what you might find in it if you find yourself with time to read it. So this process of writing actually took place over about 1.5 years. It started with an abstract about where does rage go in HCI and how do we deal with it without trying to get rid of it. And then it sort of morphed into a project where Kristina and Aisling and I all made these very personal and intimate artifacts that we called Design Memoirs. And that ended up falling out of this process is a different Chi paper in 2020. So what kind of pulling that off allowed us to do is really focus in on how we thought those design memoirs and that process of making gave us new insights into HCI's patterns for designing in the realm of women's health. And we characterized the realm of women's health in HCI a little less about the particular context of the doctor's office and whatnot, but this general idea of how we respond to the experience mothers face with uncertainty.
So what we wanted to do was to find a way to unpick or work around or find a slightly more slower and attentive way of thinking about and around this notion of the wicked problem, this thing that you cannot solve, this thing that remains, that stays, that is still there in the morning, after you solved all the things you can solve. There's a whole bunch of things that we're just living with, like frustration and grief and, you know, minor things like annoyance this is a huge part of mothering and being mothered, is the incredibly long timelines that this involves. It goes on for years and years. And there's an enormous part of that when you're in the middle of it, you go, I've been doing this for years already. Really?
That's really good to hear.
Yeah. and this, but we wanted to find a way to see if we could allow these things to just be.
And so if we think about the things that we created these design memoirs of pockets, of kind of wearable garments, of medals. The way we wanted to approach it in terms of not trying to create some sort of linear narrative, like we did, or even have a coherent method. In some ways we thought, well, why don't we read and kind of put together the things that we made and consider them with one another, right? In relationship to one another in these dyads, where we could begin to think about, well, what could we say about these together? Not what can I say about your piece that you did, which is so close to you, but rather how can I conceptualize, if I take these two things together, these representations of a felt experience, how might I begin to understand and interpret them? The way we began, we created these, we looked at them in relationship to one another, and then we come back to, okay, so what is the takeaway for our HCI community? And
yeah, so one of the books that was really influential in that conclusion was Halberstam's The Queer Art of Failure. And we kind of offer our interpretation of the text in the realm of design as a way of kind of recovering the perspective that gets left out in HCI quite a bit, or gets left out in these kind of broader narratives of innovation, that we don't always have to be moving away and improving, and that kind of notion of singular improvement or focusing in does kind of come at a cost, right? It's sort of like entropy. It always sort of reproduces somewhere else. So what we end with is a suggestion of this is another way of looking, maybe not another way of designing, but another way of approaching a situation and opening up into it and trying to listen to what's happened without any particular agenda so that we can better respond to the situations we're living in at the moment.